Okay, so let's start. Yeah, so I'm Ilya. I'm working as a software engineer in a product called Flomo. And it was my idea initially to make this event, to talk a bit, actually to discuss what's happening in IT education right now. So I would be talking about the school, Yanis would be talking about the courses and the motivation, and then Alexei, which is somewhere here, so he would be talking on university level and is it worth right now. So I'm a bit of procrastinator, so it took me 134 events of DevClub to get here in person, finally. So I was the one who was from the start in different ways connected to DevClub. I was once connected remotely, but here is my first time. This is, by the way, Oleg Anastasia from Одноклассники, like 12 years ago, talking about infrastructure, which is changed as well. But so about me, I was working as a software engineer in different companies, in different roles, in different domains, in different sectors. And after a while, I decided that I'm a bit bored and I want to find something new. And I decided to find a new hobby, which would be an education. So previous time on DevClub, it was 4 years ago, I was talking about, by the way, maybe I will move here. So I was talking about edutainment and the programming. So we had an experience of teaching programming to the second grade students. It was quite fun experience. It was 5 people, and during the course we learned programming with code blocks in Minecraft Education Edition. And previous year I was invited to start as a part-time teacher in a Riga secondary school. And this year is my second year, and it's quite a fun ride, I must tell. So, how many of you actually learned coding in school, actually in your times? Well, that's quite a lot. And how many of you wish to learn coding in school? Okay, more hands. And who thinks it's actually possible to learn coding in school right now? There's too many students and they're not raising hands. That sounds awkward. Okay, so in general, it's possible right now because there's separate programs in secondary school, but there's a different factors which affects this, like the quality, the end quality of the education. And my mission for today is actually to find out what these factors are and what the quality depends on in school. So what we have in school right now, what's the program? Who heard about Школа 2030? Quite a lot, yeah. So this is a new initiative from our government. It's a competent-based approach. So basically, yeah, it will be connected to later slides, but we have into technology sector, and those are courses which could be picked by these students. So till the 9th grade, we have only informatics called Datorica, and later you can, in technology, you can choose either designs, either programming, but also it's possible to take digital design and robotics in school. But all of that is depends basically on the ability of the school to provide those courses. But design and programming is kind of the basics. There are 2 courses of programming starting 10th grade, Programming 1 and Programming 2, by the way. Yeah, so both of them are 210 hours, which is quite a lot. But first course is split in 2 years. And Programming 2 is only 1 year course, so it means like it's 6 hours per week for this course, which is quite a lot. Imagine you would be going like in gym 6 hours per week. Yeah, you would be quite fit. So the same with coding. The more you are doing this, the more things you can know. But as well, after finishing programming 2 in 12th grade, you can pass the exam. So you need to choose, I think, 3 exams right now on the 12th grade. And one of them could be programming 2, if you decide to pick that path. Next, I will talk about the program. You can scan the QR code to check the long PDF of like Scholar Dildes Metrizismi, but I will guide you through. There would be just on my slides, there would be a shorter description. That's basically the official materials from the government. So in general, in programming 1, we have 6 topics, which I will describe later, and they split in 2 important parts. First is achievable result, and second is learning procedure. Anyone heard about achievable result in schools? One person, okay. So basically, this is a list of knowledge and skills you need to get in the subject. So this is the end goal of any course. And you basically, in any course, you're reverse engineering how to get there. So no one is saying like you like do this or do that. It's basically like you have this achievable result and you're on your own on how to do that. It's up to you to decide. So knowledge is something like, for example, you know that it happens like so. You can discuss this with students, you can check the video, you can give them materials, and etc. And skills is basically you're doing some tasks. That's the achievable result, 2 types of achievable results. So yeah, it could be quite long list. For example, this is only like for 1 topic. That's how procedure looks like. So basically, it's a few topics in 1 topic, yeah. But there is some glimpse on how it could be. So it's some suggestions, and I would say they are very short. So you still should decide on your own how to do this. So, and what's missing here? Obviously, if you have 3 hours per week for the course, it's a lot. It's not like 40 minutes. You just get in the class, say hi, ask how was your weekend, and bye-bye. No, so it's like kind of 3 hours of study. So you need get the theory, you need get the tasks, you need to talk with students, and etc. So there's quite a lot of work needs to be happen to make 1 day of studies. So, and it takes time. For example, my friend said that it's approximately x5 time on the start. So if you need to make like 3 hours of teaching, then you need to like around 15 hours for preparations. And then it's decreasing, yeah? Maybe next year it's x3, and then years after it could be just like walk through, remember the stuff, and move forward. So let's check what topics we have. Topic number 1. Mainly it's about coding basics and specification. The course is named programming, but actually it's more about computer science. So it's not only about loops and conditions and OOP and stuff. So it's also about like what different programming languages are, what they are used for. Also about ergonomics in class. So also how you need to spend your time near the computer. Different kind of tools and etc. So there are kind of coding stuff and also related computer science stuff. Next topic would be about analysis. Actually, this is something like system analysis. So writing specification, reading specification, understanding what is good and what is bad specification, presenting actually the specification. So mostly project work around the coding. Topic number 3 is about files and databases. So we start with the files as a storage system in the code, and then we switch to databases as an explanation to make it more scalable, to have a concurrency, and etc. Number 4, it's about testing. It's a small topic, actually, 20 hours. So we cover here testing scenarios, automated testing, debugging and profiling, by the way, exceptions, and all stuff related to catching bugs and differentiation of bugs. Number 5, quite big topic, 40 hours, and there's a lot of stuff happening there. So it's OOP, it's libraries, it's package management, which is already quite a lot. We can talk about OOP and Solid and all of the stuff, I don't know, endlessly. But it's also like transport layer, encryption, web service, and stuff. And then there's the bad stuff. There's usually like some achievable results which are actually like bloating this topic. So one of them is briefly talk about computer networks. Just briefly, you know, like all of this, like cables, routers, IPs, MAC addresses. I mean, like just a glimpse of it. And next one, and briefly talk about machine learning, right? Just like spend some time on that. Yeah, and 40 hours becomes a very, very short time for actually normally talking about that. Not just sharing the knowledge, but also building some skills around that. Because I think it's important also to kind of connect some network devices and play with machine learning as well. So for networking, it's like few achievable results, like we need to talk what kind of computer networks exist. We need to differ them. We need to make the configuration. And for machine learning, so we kind of should understand what kind of tasks can be solved with machine learning. So basically, it's kind of discussing what are the most popular machine learning tools or like machine learning instruments and how we can benefit from them. And then the last topic, number 6, it's actually kind of huge one with 50 hours. So it's kind of few months or more. It's about like making your own project. So we were preparing for it 2 years. And then last 2 months, you are just building from scratch, from the start, from specification analysis, and etc., through the coding, testing, publishing it somewhere, and then presenting. So it's a project made by students on their own with teachers' help. Any questions so far about Programming 1? Yes, please.
Those hours are contact hours or all of the hours spent programming? So how much time children are actually spending on their own programming?
I think there's no such like they're doing on their own. So those are contact hours. Yeah. Contact hours spent in class. Yeah. So 210 hours in class. Any other questions?
Why there is no possibility to take the exam for the Programming 1 in comparison to Programming 2? There was a difference for 2 years and for one examination and for other not?
Probably, I don't know the exact answer, but I would say because there's not much exams actually in 11th grade. This is one. And second, there would be a problem of making 2 exams actually, Programming 1 and Programming 2. I don't think there's exist exams for version 1. You just complete the whole course and then you're passing it. Yeah.
How do they present their projects? They like share GitHub repo with you, or they are making some slides and then talking about their solutions or tech they used, or
yeah. So that's exactly the problem what I told. So no one tells you how. So you should decide on your own. They should present. How they would be presenting, it's up to you to decide actually. You have an achievable result, students should present. That's it. So on my course, I was doing like real presentations with demos, with screenshots, with showing off analysis of the existing applications and stuff like so. But it is my version. And actually, every teacher in every school does it differently because there's no actually connection between teachers in different schools, probably. So there's no community or something. So I would probably go the next school in Congress, and that would be completely different kind of structure of it. Yes, please.
Can you share a bit how it works so far? Because based on the last thing you said, I recall, I hope it's better now, but I recall when I was studying informatics, I studied that it was the same thing. Sometimes teachers who are assigned to teach this class, they did not have enough competence even
Yeah.
even within the program that was back then, not speaking about teaching computer networks or machine learning. I remember occasionally there was no teacher, so the physics teacher took over the responsibility of teaching informatics. So I hope it's better now, but I assume there's still some space for such things. And when you say that there's no community, no guided materials that guide you through this program, how it just doesn't seem realistic that the chance of success is big. So can you share how is it achievable, assuming a regular teacher in a school without a computer science background?
Yeah. So there's many questions I heard. So I would answer some of them. I will answer later in my presentation, and I think it's getting worse because previously teacher profession it was it was kind of respectful profession, and you kind of was recognized by that. And right now it's like meh, it's some person like who didn't find what to do in his life and decided to teach, kinda. But it's getting better. So there's tons of materials around, and I will show some tools which are widely used. So let's get further. Programming 2. And there's a surprise, because actually a programming 2 is the same like as programming 1, just another lab of that. So it's another loop on the same topics, mostly. So we see object-oriented programming, we see libraries, we see databases, we see computer networks, encryption. So again, APIs and libraries, data structures, machine learning, again, why not? Then project management, so basically Kanban boards and stuff. Coding, finally, testing, and the final project. So basically, you're making one layer and then getting back if they survive. But you go deeper. For example, for databases, it could be you can start with just SQL tables and etc. Then you can go into relations in the tables, in the indexes, optimization, stuff like that. Yes, please.
Yeah, so you said OOP, database, and finally writing code. So my initial understanding was like it's only theory discussed with the students. You don't actually do like OOP like in like whatever editor they use, and you don't like write SQL sequences in like SQL servers and whatnot. You just talk about it. Then you write code, or like I misunderstood.
No, it's just like this topic is exactly like of the coding, not program engineering, not computer science, but actually like coding. On my courses, they like write code every hour, so they get tasks. But it's also like, again, no one said I need to, so I can like kind of skip it and just talk about it. So it depends also on student. But here's the topic you have. So you are focusing on pure coding. So basically, that's it. Yes, please.
What is breaking tasks? As in the break functionality?
It's sort of, you need to make like a Kanban board with some tasks on that. So you need to break bigger projects in smaller pieces and just show that you can decompose all of that functionality in some like chunks. Yeah. So break elephant in the parts. Yeah. Let's move forward because there's a lot to talk. They also the recommendation is to follow design thinking. Yeah. This is designed for subject with design and technology, but programming should follow the same thinking. So plan, analyze, make some hypothesis, develop prototype, test, launch, something like that. Yeah, who invented this? What's the foundation on that? And the foundation on it, you can scan. This is actual document. So this is our notikumi vispārējais vidējais izglītības standards. This is likumi.lv, our document, which we all follow. And they are, sorry guys, I will get back. Yes, please. Yep. So it's actually just a long list of achievable results. Yeah, so it's achievable results which are fixed in law. And then, based on that, there could be some interpretation as a program of it, which is Skola 2030. So in our law, we have achievable results. We need to talk in programming 1 and programming 2. That's the foundation. That's how it's built. So what's the instruments? How it happens? Do we actually code? And etc. Someone sticks to just pure talking. That's exactly the situation when there's a physics teacher or maybe some system administrator who was doing some stuff with computers 20 years ago. Maybe some other teachers, maybe some students. It could be like so. No one bans that. There's also a datorium Yanis can talk more about because he was once part of the project. So basically, it's a live streaming to many schools at once. And there could be like hundreds of students in one auditorium, and they just like listening and then doing some homework. It's also possible. So that's another approach how it could be taken. Someone takes all good coding tasks, but problem with it because every teacher, again, find those tasks on their own. It could be very different by difficulty. It could be achievable or not. So the problem is to actually craft those. The quality could be very different. There's also a project from Accenture, I think. So it's called Start IT. They have very, very good program. Basically, there's a ready presentation for every day, but it's not actually connected directly to programming 1 and programming 2. It's just a kind of inspiration which you can take. So there's a task, there's a presentation, some I don't know, subject to discuss. And, but before it was very modern stuff. So like 10 years ago, it was the best what we could have. And some new thing which I started this year. So during the summer, I took courses for kind of programming teachers. And I found out the Harvard CS50 course, which is actually right now translated to Latvian. And you can use it. You can use it in your class. How it looks like. So on the left, you can see the agenda. And on the right side, it's a task description. Then you have basically, you have notes, you have video, you have lecture. So you can get back to it like anytime. So it's pretty well structured. I can show one task. Yeah, so there's a video, there's a demo, so you can check how this command should work like. For example, they're like making some banking application. Very descriptive explanation on how to write this, on how to test, except like the task itself. There's no code. So all you need to do is to check the code. And after you finished, you have a pack of unit tests. So basically, you can run them, and then you get the feedback. They're either red, either green. After you're done with checks, you can submit it, and there's a GitHub system where you can see like how well they did. So basically, it's a modern mix of GitHub Classroom and GitHub Code Spaces. So you do everything in browser. There's a web-based VS Code, and you don't need like super powerful computer for that. So that's quite modern and convenient to use. I can show you one task. I don't know if you will.
You didn't say hello. Yes, I did. No, you didn't. $100. I get $100. Huh?
No, I said hello.
No, you said hey.
What, hey is hello, same thing.
No, the ad said that the bank's gonna pay $100 if you're not greeted with a hello.
You're taking that much too literally. Now, sir, do you have any business to transact?
I want to speak with the manager.
Well, he's not here right now.
Then I'll be back.
No?
Yeah, I was in there the other day and I went up to that teller and he didn't say hello.
Well, you are entitled to $100. That's our policy.
Yeah, but he wouldn't give me the money.
Jim, can I see you for a second?
Yes, can you give me a minute?
Yeah. He'll,
So the task was to make a command where, like, if you talk to a bank person and you start with, and they respond with hello, then they give you nothing. But if they don't say hello, they owe you $100. And if they say any word starting with H, then it's $20. So basically, that's a simple task about conditions and strings. And most of the tasks have such structure with videos and stuff. So video, description, and etc. And that's actually how your code space looks like. So you can open it on any PC. It looks pretty much like VS Code, but it has tons of plugins inside. So unit testing, saving all the time, so you don't need to actually use GitHub, so it's saved. But it's still there. You can kind of teach that anyways. So you have some code. Then you can run it, so you don't need to install Python on your PC. So it's already there. Also, there are tools. Design 50, this is kind of suggestions how you can restructure your code, and style 50 is to just fix it according to some code style. Probably it's a Python, some Python code style. And here you can launch the unit tests, waiting for results, everything green, and then you can submit. So that's how it looks like. Later on, you can see like which of the tasks you are already done and switch to other ones. So, and also I'm adding some tasks on my own. Mostly from pop culture. For example, we were decoding hidden messages in Gravity Falls. So we were playing like with Caesar cipher. We were also playing with Pokemons. We have an assignment test with a circus game. So I'm just trying to somehow like entertain during the class. We also use some coding games, especially for the start, just to kind of introduce to loops, conditions, and variables. So mostly it's Lightbot, it's a silent teacher, Minecraft code builders, and Blockly games. So there you just code using the blocks, but it's pretty convenient because from the start, when you don't know syntax, you already can play with kind of real coding tasks. Also, sometimes we take the programming drones. This is DJI Tello education edition, and we're programming to kind of make some road and do some stuff, which is actually very tough because they're not very precise. So then you need to somehow be creative on how to get the job done. So let's get back to the question about teaching in school. So mostly, like, again, I don't have statistics. Statistics I have, like average age of teacher in school in Latvia is 50 years. It's very hard to get progressive teachers in 50 in schools. And also, mostly it's not about the money. So mostly this is some teachers which were working on other subjects and then decided to switch. So they go to the courses. They don't have actual programming kind of, corporate experience. They're just switching and starting to teach this one. So mostly, in rare occasions, this is some students which finished university recently and decided to like get a side hustle, or someone who have like hobby like me. So in my case, it's just a hobby which I'm doing like once per week. Yeah, is it all up to the teacher? Actually, no. Like we can rely on the good courses from Harvard. We can rely on good computers in good class and etc. But I think the goal of the school is give it to try something to student. So not really kind of get a professional which would be ready for the market, but actually for the person to understand, do they like the coding? Do they enjoy sitting near to computer like few hours in a row? And it could not work out in the end. And this is okay as well. This is good result. So you understand that it's hard for you right now, and it's also like a good solution. So there are students which are switching after half a year or after a year. They decide like, okay, I want to try design because this one is hard for me. And other ones, they dive in so much that they're like coding all the time, which is also good because like school is awesome time to try this out. Yeah, and the last thing I want to tell you about is how actually like school looks like. How many of you been in school like previous year? Like actually in the building? +2. Yeah, so it's different. And it's different from school to school. For example, there is very, very modern Ogres Vals Gymnasia. And they even like bring some teachers and directors from other schools to the excursions to show off like how they look like right now, because it's like the most top like building in Latvia in terms of education. So they have like very modern class, they have like very modern sports. There's a separate building for building carts, like racing carts. So it's a workshop for racing cars just near the school, and they can do it anytime. So you can join. So you have all the tools, you have mentors there, and it's super cool. But of course, it's top of the top, and all other schools are not like that. They could be, some schools are closed. Many of them are closed actually because of demographics problems, and now you can learn remotely and etc. So it differs, but a lot of region schools are closing, and it's important, for example, for Ogra city to have school like that, because it brings a lot of people in Ogra. Same with Vadaji, very modern school, similar. They have like, I think Ogra have like 10 first grades this year, and Adaji have even more. I think it's around 50 or 20 or something. Like, it's really crazy. Imagine we had like maybe 2, 3, and they have 10 and more. And imagine how much teachers you need for that. Yeah, it's a crazy machine. It's a crazy machine with separate buildings. So some modern schools have more buildings. Some are closed and they are just aggregated as a like starting school. So it's very different. I'm in Riga's 72 vidusskola. So the bonuses are they have 2 swimming pools. They have modern like sport environments there. They have also a judo, karate class. So there's tons of space. It's a big school, so it's 1,200 students right now. So it's a huge one, and also 120 teachers. So it's also kind of corporation at the moment. They have 3D printers. They can laser cuts, CNC cuts, and etc. So they can do on design. They can do pretty interesting projects. Computer class doesn't look very good. So I would say like computers are around like 10 years old. So, but again, since we can work in cloud, it's not a problem. And the bonus is that this year they're actually rebuilding whole computer class, whole 3rd floor. So all school is under construction, and soon we will be in modern classes. They have air quality sensors in every room. I think it's pretty modern because like And all the teachers are walking around like, oh, okay, again, those sensors, I need to like open doors, open windows. And I'm kind of, I saw that and I said like, wow, we have it like in IT offices, like go everyone out, I need to like more fresh air here. So I think it's pretty cool. It's connected to centralized system, and you can be notified when it's actually time to get more fresh air. Media displays, they're actually huge. So for the first grade, it's important because they can draw on it. They're interactive, very useful for them. We have probably around 5 of them, which is quite good. Such simple thing like water refill spot. Not many schools actually have it, but like the basic need of actually getting out and getting fresh water, like it's not everywhere. But we thankfully we have it on every floor in our school, but some schools still not have it. Tennis table. We have Chromebooks. We actually have 6 shelves. I think there's 12 or 14 computers. Like it's very simple devices, so you only open the Chrome browser and that's it. But everyone have an account there, and everyone can connect their own account. And basically, again, it's working for us because we can connect to the cloud and use them. They are cheap, they are reliable, they are simple, they're not very user-friendly, but it works for us. The bonus is you can like grab tens of them and just walk anywhere. Probably you can do a classroom in a swimming pool if you wish. I really like the idea that they are doing a lot of stuff on their own. So they're like making lamps, making drawings, making 3D printed stuff. So all around the school, there are things built by the students. I actually tried to buy this lamp and no one could sold me it. So I asked to build it for me for the next year. I think it's really great because there's stuff from the wood, from the plastic, and etc. Keychains, T-shirts printed, they are all doing this on their own inside the school. And Stolovka, the greatest place of all. You would not find so low prices as school Stolovka right now. So very loud for developers, but if you get noise cancellation, it could be very good and tasty. Yeah, school is also focusing on different stuff. They're participating in different programs, like, for example, stop bullying, which is important because I think it's a problem in every school, and there's usually every year a lot of stuff happening in the background. So all teachers get educated, follow new practices, discuss it, and keep in mind on every course. Gaming. In our times, we didn't have like so powerful computers in our pockets as our mobile phones, so we needed to get back to home and to play some Counter-Strike and stuff like that. But since all of the kids right now have mobile phones, they're playing a lot. Like, I mean, like starting from 5th, 6th grade, like whole corridors is filled with kids which playing some games. So from what I saw, the number 1 is Brawl Stars, then there is Minecraft, and then a lot of kids actually playing chess. And I think it's an initiative from the school. They can play chess kind of in any classroom, so it's kind of allowed if it's like not the apart from teaching time. And takeaways. So I would say schools really does look different. It's also experience could be different from school to school. Depends on the teachers, on the location of the city, how much supported you are. There could be more materials. It's possible to make productive, exciting course, but it's on your kind of on your initiative. If you love this thing, if you are excited, if you are ready to do this, then it could be fun and cool. If not, then it could be still boring, same as it was like 20 years ago. What are actually the benefits for developers to join the school? Like, because it's important to professionals to teach the course, the subject, not the people who actually don't know about it much. Obviously, you know subject, you know the processes, you've seen it in real life, you've seen it many, many times. You would be one of the youngest teacher in the school. That's also fun. School processes are not very efficient, so you always can contribute with your ideas of how to manage projects, of how to talk with people, how to manage good communication. Because in IT companies, it's mostly better and better. For example, schools still using like one single WhatsApp chat for all information. Imagine how bloated it is. And I was convincing everyone, okay, at least make a community with channels where everyone could speak about different topics, because otherwise it's a mess. And starting this year, we're using school community in WhatsApp, and we have better communication, and it's much more clear. It's actually giving back to community in terms like, come on, all of you were learning from someone. Someone wrote the materials, someone filmed a movie, someone, like, I don't know, was sitting with you and actually showing how it's done. So this is very awesome way to give back. Yeah, and just teaching new folks, I think it's great for whole our country. Yeah, look at the Estonia. They have awesome startups. Why we cannot do this? We can do this in a school, right? Maybe it's not so impactful on your life in terms of money or maybe respect or all other things, but it's important thing to do for like general for the society. Also, like previous year, we had Enudena in one of the offices of the companies. I think it was pretty insightful. Yulia, what do you think? How it was? I think it was quite good. And it's nothing for you, right? Because you can bring to your own office. Like 5 years ago, we've done it in different companies. And you actually can open doors to them. Imagine how they would get into someone's office in IT. It's quite hard. And how you will benefit. Actually, one most important stuff is you will learn to teach. It's completely separate skill. To make a presentation, to make it better, to find good, interesting tasks, to find the tools, and etc. It's a new skill, and it's different from what we're doing in our daily tasks. Yeah, you can learn the subject better, actually. If you was not so good on computer networks, you would be, because you're finally like at the point where you need to talk about it like you're pro in it, right? So you need to dive in and fill that gap. Technologies also, like GitHub providing tons of education tools, Microsoft providing tons of education tools. And this is something new for you, which you can introduce back to your company. Yeah, you can say, okay, let's use this one to kind of make introductory course. And of course, have fun. Yeah, because young energy is always fun in school. It's a good laugh, it's a good days, and you feel energized. Also, yeah, new stuff. So for example, Bloom's taxonomy, never heard about it before the school. Solo taxonomy, like how actually to learn stuff and how actually to teach stuff. So all of that uncovers when you start to teach. That's it from me. Sorry for taking so long. And questions? Yanis?
So I have a question. As you mentioned, that was like a part of the tutorial. It's basically teaching programmation to people. And my biggest concern was, how can you actually measure which student is a good programmer and which is like not? You have the state exam. They have their own rules that assume that if you know this thing, then you will be a good programmer. But I have a lot of doubts in it. How do you feel? How should the exam look like, and who would like mark the exam? Who would be in the commission who is looking at if he's a good programmer or maybe he's not? How can you even tell which programming language is more superior than others? So I had a lot of doubts because this government is stepping in and they are forcing us to teach specific things, but programming is like not about that. Programming is, as you mentioned, about having fun and making cool projects.
Yeah, I would say imagine yourself on their side. They know nothing about coding and IT, and then they're forced to make an exam. So basically, they are not checking about how good programmer you are. They are checking like how much information did you get from the course. So it's kind of unit test where you pass in the input and then expect some output, and that's it. And inside it could be very, very different. So I would say it's not feeling, and come on, like programming exam, you write on a piece of paper. How boring is that? Like in the age of Minecraft and Harvard courses and etc. and cloud education. So of course it's not answering the question, but about the broad situation, you can ask questions about computer networks, some basics, etc. But of course it's not.
You're forced to prepare them for the state exams, so you can't like teach them real programming and work with really fun projects. It's kind of, I felt the barrier in there. That's why I don't want to teach anymore the programming too, because I can't teach it my way. I need to follow the state's regulations.
I heard a lot of teachers like saying that, like basic, like I want to teach programming, I don't want to prepare them for exam. So that's a con of that, right? But it's still fun. Any more questions? I think, yep, Yevgeny.
You mentioned that's more of a hobby for you, but still, how much time it takes, all the activities related to teaching, like weekly, for example?
Yeah, so I'm spending whole day just teaching. So today I started at 8 and finished at 4. So I was 8 hours talking in the school, giving tasks, checking, like supporting students. But before that, you need to prepare. So first year would be much harder, as I said, but depending on how much friends you have, how much materials they can give you, and if you have like good community, I think you can collect a lot of resources, which could be super helpful. I'm not the best, again, like at making presentations and collecting tasks and etc. So it takes me a lot of time. Sometimes I spend like around 15 really hours on making like single day, but sometimes it get like maybe 1-2 hours, and like I crafted like presentation with 80 slides in maybe like 1 hour or so. So with the time, it's getting better and better, I would say.
If somebody wants to teach, they can get materials from you, right?
We can discuss, yeah. Rita?
I was wondering about grading all of this. I mean, it's already hard with the exams per se, but how do you grade it on a daily basis, like their actual work? So I imagine with a course like Harvard CS50, it would be easier. So how many tests you passed in the end, but apart from that, how do you do?
Basically, I make a criteria every time. I try to make around 10 points, and I say like, okay, if there are comments in your code near to, for example, conditions, loops, and etc., it's 1 point. Then I make like another point, like if you submitted your code to GitHub, it's another point. If it's styled correctly, it's 1 point, and then by features. So this feature is working, 1 point, and etc. So the earlier you can give them the feedback, the better, because they understand, okay, it's not going so fast, so good for me, so I need to spend more time. And I think that's the biggest idea about grading, to give a feedback, like, hey, those guys are doing this better, or you are doing this better, like so, yeah. And with CS50, you can like run the unit tests and then put some percents from that in your A class. Any more questions? Yes, please.
Yeah, I have a question regarding Chromebooks you mentioned.
Yeah.
Do you also like use them for programming, and is it a good tool, or because there's Linux inside it, for example?
Yeah, but it's
some
yeah.
Linux.
It's very, very close. You can't do anything there. So basically you have sort of big Android phone, which is limited with applications. So you have a Chrome browser, and that's your best friend. So if you don't have a cloud running some education tool, then you're screwed up. Because there's no Visual Studio Code, there's no like Python, there's no JavaScript, and etc. Only browser, that's it. So we are working with Chromebooks, but I'm doing it like so. So we have like 15 seats. If you come later, you get the Chromebook. So sorry, I'm sorry.
There's actually is a Linux console, but I don't know like if you can write commands and then execute it. I mean,
Yeah.
You can probably install Python there, but you need, I guess, unit rights, whether you have them or not.
Even with good computers, like regular computers, you can install Python, but there's an administration coming from Riga's council, like Skaitliošanas centers or something. Sometimes they delete Python on the fly. So like you're running the code and then like one student said like, oh, it's something not working. Some file is missing. And I'm like, oh, okay, let's try it out. We restart Visual Studio Code, we reinstall. And then like next one, oh, I have same problem. And then it's like going through the class and I'm like, okay, I got it. And they launching new security and deleting like 2 files from your Python. and you need to find out which ones. So it's a game from Riga's console. So it's better to have stuff in cloud, but sometimes they don't work. So sometimes they're busy, but it's super convenient because you can launch it they can launch it home. They can launch it on a Chromebook, so they can launch it on any computer, basically, which could run a Chrome. So it's much better until it's stopped working. But there's also opportunity to run code space on your own, so you can make a server if you have a lot of time. So you can run up the code space and then share it with the students. This is also possible. Yes?
Very fast one. Do you need to have to meet some formal requirements like teaching education, studying, teaching at school? Yeah, thank you. Actually, forgot to talk about it. 2 ways. Either you need to have a pedagogics, like at least bachelor, this is number 1. And second option, if you have different bachelor, you can spend a course of 72 hours and then you're good to go. Okay. Basically, there's a very brief glimpse into what is pedagogics, how to structure the lesson, how to work with students. But it's only, this 72 courses only for high school, like 9, 10 to 11 school, 10 to 11 school grade. Or
Any. Yeah, and it's unlimited. You don't need to refresh it after a while, for now. So it works for now. Yeah. So bachelor, 70 hours, good to go.
How do you handle network tasks? As you mentioned that one of the practice tasks was to configure router. How do you do it? Like which router to pick and where to get it even?
It's impossible to do in school. So you don't have routers. If you will go to and mess up the cables, the administration guys will kill you because it's very hard. It's very hard for them to manage this. So what you do, you download Packet Tracer and do all of the stuff there, and kind of old school, but still valid. Yeah. So virtual stuff. Yes, please.
By the way, about the teaching, also students are allowed to teach. For example, I'm studying at RTU, and usually once a semester I got the list of schools where they need teachers, so students can participate in it.
Cool.
Is this from Estonia or Latvia?
Yeah, there's a big hunger for teachers in Latvia, and I think starting like this professional subjects, it's better to be taught by professionals starting from 10th grade. So because teachers keep up till 9th grade, and then when there is super hard chemistry, physics, and etc., programming, robotics, for example. In robotics, they have Raspberry Pis, ESP controllers. This need to be taught by professionals, and you can do it.
Robotics is not the main course, right? In school.
It's one of them. You can choose it like the same way like a design and programming, but it's very rare to find in our schools. So I would say like the more courses you have in school, the better. So you get more students to come. Yeah, but it's possible. So I'm thinking about it. I'm not so into actually electronics, but it would be fun for me to tinker together with students with Raspberry Pis and stuff, like connecting sensors, air station, and stuff like that. I think it took a lot of time, so